Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Lime War. Today we're battling Kuruk, and this is me battling Kuruk as well. This is still replays. Kuruk has gone for airfields, and I went for factories. I haven't built them yet, but I know I went for factories. There we go. And there's a reason why I'm showing these matches. They may seem short, but I'm actually doing 3 battles today because Kuruk said I wouldn't show the battles when I lost. There's a good reason why I lost, so I thought, screw it, I'm going to show you them all. I know he was only joking, but still, I think it's kind of funny that I will actually show you when I lose. I don't mind. I really don't care too much about that. So, there's a reason why I lost. Here's the reason. Most people usually start with barracks. Some people start with airfields. So I thought, how can I counter them both? Well, SAM units have a minigun that is quite effective against infantry. Yeah? So my logic was, if I could learn to create a tactic that starts with SAM units and spams SAM units, as long as the enemy doesn't go artillery, in which I'd have to switch, then a SAM unit start might actually be quite effective. So that's what I was trying to test. I can't really test in sandbox mode, I have to use a real person, so Kuruk was that person. So this is the battle so far. We're at 2 minutes in. He's gone for an airfield, so this tactic should actually be quite effective. Alright, so I've got SAM units on the field right now. He can see that straight away. I've gone to send some infantry in first, and I've got some infantry still expanding. I did start with 6 territories. This battle's quite old now, to be honest, because I've got quite a lot of replays to go through, and I just kind of wanted to do this today. So we've got a very short battle of SAM units. I'm going to speed this up because we have quite a few battles to go through, and these few are lost. I will show you the battle I have with him later on in normal speed, and we will go through these just normally. I'm not going to edit, I will just quickly switch matches. And the SAM units there, you see he's got in there, he is using the minigun, that was the plan, but 2 infantry units taking on 1 SAM unit pretty much instantly told me this is probably not a viable strategy. I'm not even sure what can actually win, whether it's SAM or infantry when it comes to one-on-one. My main advantage is the fact that they have range. But infantry units are quite fast now, so that range doesn't matter too much. I tried to use the circle command after trying the lines, hoping that the range would give me the advantage at first. But it wasn't working, and I couldn't build up SAM units fast enough. And here's a small amount of infantry, because he saw my SAM units, so he didn't send the air units in. He ended up switching into artillery, which is a good switch, that's what he's doing, but he's still building those SAM units for when the strikers for whenever there's an opportunity, which is still quite a good idea because I've only just started the match and I've got SAM units straight away. It's not really that good of an idea. So I thought, what if I don't start so close to him? Because obviously starting this close didn't work out well for me. SAM units are far too expensive. The infantry can take them out just as well as the SAM can take out the infantry. I'm not sure which is better. Maybe the SAM units are slightly better, but either way, it's not cost effective. So it ended up losing me the match, especially when the artillery gets there. And I gave up pretty quickly after realizing that this just isn't going to work for me. I wasn't gaining any territory with what I started with because I'm having to stop his units and they just aren't destroying them fast enough. So that's game 1 where I give up pretty much at this point. I've lost one of my production already. And his units are building up in numbers. So I gave up because I didn't want to waste too much time. It is just quick tests. So we'll move on to the next one. Got replays. I've got tons of replays on this. Go through. Here's my list of replays I still haven't done yet, which I am going through from bottom to top, generally speaking, but sometimes I don't have an hour, so I will just skip some and do whatever I can at the time. Here we go. So this is the second match, 10 minutes, where I use SAM units again. So it's going to load up now, and then it will probably freeze for a minute at the beginning, because it usually does, while it loads in the game. So this is a different map now, where I tried to not pick such an obvious place to begin with. So we got Kuruk here, and we're going to speed up this, because this is choosing a battle. I don't know if I picked quick. We still end up choosing the same location at the beginning. And same again. But then I start to produce here. I'm going to put it down to ×2, and Kuruk is over here. So we're still kind of close. He doesn't quite know where I am. And I try to build a bit further back because I'm pretty sure he started over here. So now I've got a bit more time to do this. And because it's the same start as before, I will just put it to ×4 until we engage. I've got some units going that way. I thought he would come in through this way, which is what happened. So there you go. He's put up some extra barracks here. He started with barracks and an airfield, so he started pretty much the same way. But instead of strikers, he used helicopters. And I think that was because I started with so many SAM units before. He wanted more maneuverability. I'm not sure. And here I've got SAM units. I've brought him back here to start claiming some territories for me, so that when he does come too close, I can surprise him with SAM units, because he probably wouldn't think I'd do the same stuff again, especially since it didn't work. But my logic was I needed more of them. So now I've got more. They're all going to come and join this line here, and I'm just going to push this line forward. So now that I have even more units, I wanted to see, are these SAM going to actually take out these infantry, especially at this choke point here? I drew the line backwards just then, if you spotted that, and then drew it the right way around. So now we've got range and a mountain, so I've got a good advantage here, because I have the range. They're going slow over the mountain, meaning I'm going to get a bit more damage in. But then the artillery came in, and well, SAM units don't really destroy artillery at all. But they did manage to take it out, and I am getting closer. This is kind of working. But his units are taking the SAM units out faster than I can produce them still. And infantry produce insanely fast, so, and cheaply. So it still wasn't really viable. He pushed them straight out of there. And I built up another line and was trying to take them out again. And I'm still trying to build it up before I push through. I'm trying to keep out of range of these artillery units so that I don't take that extra damage. But his artillery is building up as well. So any form of artillery on this tactic, and it just won't work at all. It really won't work against an infantry spam either, because they're just not cost effective. So I pretty much decided that, although it was fun, I think one of you guys suggested it in the Discord, it didn't quite work. So I decided to have a proper battle with him now. He might think I'm doing something silly again, so still, this might not quite be him at his best. He might have thought, I'm going to do something random, so he might try and do something random. I don't know, I haven't watched the replay. But basically, I've been playing a bit of psychological warfare right now, where he thinks that I'm going to do some strange tactic. Maybe. Right, and I don't like watching these parts at the beginning, so I'm going to skip that. Get into the part where we choose our location. I can't remember when it is. So, now that we're starting the proper battle, hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. There we go, we've started up now. So he started over here. He's gone for a navy yard straight away. And I'm pretty sure I started to the left of that, right in this corner. Now, a lot of people don't like starting in the corners of a map. There's a good reason I chose it. Because I wanted to just produce as many barracks as I possibly could, so I could expand the map. And as you can see, this is kind of one long snake here. We got a long bit of land there. And then it curves around here, and at the bottom there. So my logic was, if I can just start in the middle of the landmass, even though it is in the corner, that should give me an advantage. I did assume that it'd cross the water to this island or this island. So I wasn't too confident that I'd be able to keep it cut off from him, so I was prepared for that. But right now we have 7 barracks on the field. I also started with 1 less territory, I think, so I did actually try and do something a bit different, and I did that for some extra economy, which you might have noticed I started doing with the Halloween thing I've been doing recently, Nightmare Mode. There's a reason I say 4 territory at the beginning on that, because I think that's the best way to do this. 4 territories and 8 barracks, or maybe 7. I can't really remember, I'll have to look at my notes. But I might do a video on the best starting for an infantry spam. As my nuke rush did alright, I used to think, so I might try and make up a perfect infantry spam. Let me know what you guys think about that. and if you guys have any suggestions for it, because I also think that the maps need to be right for the strategy as well. You can't just pick a random map and just have it work anytime. So at this point we are just trying to expand the map. He is over here. He has managed to get across quite a lot of it already, mostly because of it's quite thin here, so it looks like he's made a lot of progress. So he's about this location. He has also planned to cross the water here. He's got units in this boat already. They are going to get here first, and then he's probably going to make his way across this area next. So far he's got 3 barracks, 1 airfield, and a factory. He doesn't have too much else, I don't think. Obviously the Navy Yard he had at the beginning. And at this point we should be coming into contact with each other fairly soon. But I do have quite a lot of infantry spread out, and my plan is generally to get enough units to fill these gaps. So like this line here, if I have too many units there, they become ineffective at capturing the territory, and I'm just wasting unit control. With this area being thicker, I should have put 4 on this side and 3 on this side, and I can switch the production round to each line, which is why the first lines are kind of short. That's usually the way I do it. I haven't done it properly today. I usually draw a couple of short lines in both directions first and then continue the lines, and that's how I sort of control production. I can see his unit there before I can see the ground being taken, so I have spotted him. He has yet to spot me, which is great, so I spotted him first, or at least had the opportunity to do so. I don't always pay attention, I'm not that observant, so I might not have spotted him first. I like to have the lines in the middle of these thicker. On this side I just did it all way anyway because it was thick ground. I just wanted to cover all the territory. But generally I like the line in the middle to be thick rather than the ones at the outskirts of it, because then I've got more units there. And if I create this line to be thicker later because there's more units on the top of this, it becomes a lot easier to control where I put the pressure. Whereas when I got so little units right now, it's not that great. But that's why the lines over on that side were thicker and this one's weren't. So I've taken them away from the production there. I've moved them that way. So now all my produced units are going to stick to the bottom ground, and I'll only have these units in the top area. So I am engaging there. What's he doing for that? He's not going to worry too much. I have quite a large force of infantry there. He hasn't worried about it yet, but he has got artillery on the way in, which is probably what he's relying on right now. Whereas I don't really care for artillery that much. They're definitely important, but I find they're way too slow. He's in the mountains there, so even if I can see the mountains, I can't see him yet. Nearly captured this territory, so my units will be on the way soon. There you go, and I've got some units cut in the ground here, so that I drew this line as a bit wiggly, probably a bit too wiggly as this territory was being claimed anyway. So I tried to cut the line with a higher priority line, just to get them in there a bit faster, and they grouped together quite nicely, just as Kuruk was trying to take this territory, so I took that opportunity away. And his units are coming out of the mountains here, so I should start to see them. There they are, which is good timing really, because I have a good lot of units going in there as well. So from that perspective, he's got a lot of random units straying around, so I felt quite confident in that section. The units coming down here I nearly forgot about, but I do remember about them in a minute. Sorry. So he has got a transport boat, and he's gone down here first instead, which isn't bad. There's a lot of stuff going on here. You could place a barracks and then just spread out across, but I did expect him to go for this one first, which is probably what I would have done, because that's the territory that your enemy's going to be taking. So you want to get as much of that as possible before they do, and then you can always retreat to that one later, or just, you know, take it slowly. Right now, in my opinion, he's making a bit of a mistake, because he's got his units straying into this area as my units are getting close, which is closing the gap between us faster than he probably wants it to happen. I'm not too bad with rushing or anything like that, because I'm just happy to take over this territory as I go, because it's quite a lot of income that I'm going to need, because I am fairly low on eco when I start, like, with this amount of barracks. did end up switching into 8 barracks, and as you can see, I did change my production output. So I've got enough units down here, which I have forgotten about. I was wrong. I need to get these guys expanding a bit more. And there's enough units there to cover the territory around this area, in my opinion. So I switched the production to go this way. All of it now. So he's got 8 barracks production against him at this early stage in the game where we're still trying to expand the map. And he's trying to get strikers involved and artillery involved, which costs a lot of money. So I'm just trying to cover a lot of ground here. He does try and sneak one unit across this way, one lone wolf, but I do have enough infantry to spot that and stop it. Oh, there's 2 actually. I didn't spot that one, which is kind of ironic with what I just said. So Kuruk is going to get taken out there. And my forces are moving in closer in this location. I do change my strategy on movements because I noticed that he's got artillery. So instead of just straying them in as random lines, I tried to put a commando unit here and get them to sneak around the top here. You can see them going over there. And my movements to push forward were using these blue lines. Because I'm using infantry, this is how I'd use this command, is try and get them in a group like that with small blue lines and just try to push in where I can. I can control the pressure once again, but also keep a frontline force. I do spot the strikers coming in, but when I'm playing like this, I really don't care about air units. At that point, it kind of just means I have to rush. Or I can start producing air units. I mean, it ends up being a choice on whether I can get to his base or not. It's kind of my thought process there anyway. So have I spotted these guys yet? I have, not long ago. So I curve them around there so they follow it around and capture the territory, and then I'm probably going to split it off into 2 groups here. It's bad that I forgot that, because if I didn't forget that, I could have got into this area a lot faster and stopped Kuruk getting there, because he's probably coming up to it soon. He hasn't done it yet. So I'm using the blue line commands here. And Kuruk's using the orange circle commands here. He's got a blue one for the SAM units so that they end up staying there. But that is too close to the front line. And I was able to push forward. As you can see on my screen over here, you can see my blue lines are pushing forward in front of the enemy. So I'm rushing through, preventing the artillery doing as much damage by trying to get in there as quick as possible. However, I decided that this probably isn't good because it's only got 1 artillery command. This is probably over protective, and the ranged units are getting the units that are out of there, so I have to try and change that up, and I think I do a little bit for just a little for a short time, but I might be thinking of a different match, so we'll have to see what happens. I'm a bit concerned that I don't have enough units here, especially being attacked by all these strikers, the SAM units, and the artillery's range. But I have spotted his base now, which has given me a bit more confidence, and I can see the energy wells just there. And I do have a lot of reinforcements coming in. My only problem with the reinforcements that's coming in is they're being a bit too slow, especially as I've caught them going over the mountain. It would have been better if I curved around that mountain. And I should have took this command off and separated them here because the mountains are making them slower. But we got a commando out on the field. He's following this path up. So yeah, I changed him to a circle command here. I was right. I tried to go straight for the energy there. But I put them into circle commands so that I can try and take out the single artillery units that are here on the front lines. Because walking through them and it firing, killing off just the ones that are right next to it was a bit of a problem. So I decided to change it a little bit just for the time being until I've got a few more units on the front lines. And I'm just moving this blue line towards the energy well. I do have a plan. I don't think I'm going to take it out with this group, but that is my plan to try. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, the commandos are going to take it out. That's my plan. I want to see what Kuruk's thinking right now. So I can see that I've got units heading straight for the energy well. He sent some units up. Try and target them. But I do get there pretty quick. And I don't know if he's actually going to be able to stop me. I can't remember. And now we can see the power of having a great start with an infantry spam. He's started quite diversely. He's got artillery on the field. He's got SAM units on the field. He's used up his economy. And he's expanded pretty well. So there isn't much else he could have done about this. He's even got this island down here he's trying to colonize. He does have 1 barracks down there, but I don't think 1 barracks production over here would have changed much. It's better to increase his economy to build more later. It is kind of Strange that he's kept these commands up here. They're so far into it. He's got this line that's moving towards it, but single unit straying into this swarm isn't going to last very long. He needs to set up another line here to try and stop my movements. I do take out the energy well here with just this infantry group. I'll have a look from this point of view. I do see another energy well there, but I don't see if anything's on it, so I do send some units that way. Did he have anything on it? He didn't. Oh, he does. Bad timing from Kuruk. Because I just assumed there was something there, so I wanted to rush through just to see. I didn't know if I was going to get there, but, you know, these groups of units are either going to retreat heavily damaged, or they could provide me a great distraction. Not just a distraction, though. I've got commandos up there, and I don't want to risk my commandos. I'd rather risk these units that Kuruk already knows about. So I get to see what's going on behind the enemy's lines, and then my commandos can try and take over the enemy lines. I've started building SAM units. I can see that I've placed a SAM command there, so that's to try and take out the enemy's SAM units. This wasn't like an only infantry challenge or anything like that. It was just the way I like to play. So you can see that I've got units rushing through towards the other energy well. I don't know if he realizes the threat that I'm actually trying to do here, or whether he thinks I'm just scouting. But he hasn't tried to defend this energy well. It's literally just come online, so he can now start launching his air units again. But I'm going to end up threatening that, because I'm going to try and take on that energy well. Those air units are back on the field, over here, and I do have SAM units, but again, I don't follow my own advice. I need to build them up in numbers before I send them to the front lines. I do keep them back a little bit, hoping to catch off any strays. But the helicopter spots me anyway and tries to take it out. It wasn't far back enough. Is Kuruk going for that middle island yet? He's gonna soon. He's taken over territories in the ocean. Which I thought the ocean might be a problem, but I didn't want to invest too much in it. Don't know if I've done it yet. No, I haven't done anything about that yet. And Kuruk's just built a barracks over here, which is far too close to the front line. It's not going to be able to produce much there. Not without me damaging it too much beforehand. And I still have quite a good lot of units coming in through here, and I've got some straying off this way. I don't want too much straying away from the front lines here, but I wanted another force to come in somewhere else. My units did not manage to kill off that energy well. He did stop it. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. But as you can see, I've got commandos going up to this energy well here. They're all going to try and go there, and I'm going to have to see if I can spot anything there. Pretty sure there wasn't anything there. Nope. There's nothing on that energy well. So I end up changing where I want them to go soon. The Kuruk doesn't see any of my commandos yet. Oh yeah, he does. He spotted a couple here. He has tried taking them out, but I have one over here somewhere. He's bringing his transport boat down. He's going to come here. He's going to try and cross the water soon, I think, from that way. But he is feeling the pressure from my units there. I'm literally in a line just here. Right at his front line on his base. Pretty much going in on top of it now. So I don't mind using this command right here, because I am still attacking anything I come across as I try to get into my positions there. And Kuruk's just seeing my units try and spread through there. He doesn't know what I'm trying to attack, because I don't really care, as long as I attack something. But he is building some units, some structures up here, which is a good move, because I'm going to be busy here for quite a while trying to take out these structures with infantry. And he's got a group here trying to defend this energy well. Trying to make sure he knows it's important to keep it running, especially with the air units he's got. But unfortunately, now that he's got it running, his air units aren't going to be as viable anymore. From my point of view, I have one SAM on the front line, heavily damaged. I've got another one coming in. But he doesn't have many air units, and I can see that. I've got this group coming in trying to take out this production here, which I don't think he knew about. No. So it was a good idea until he realizes that I've got another group coming in from this direction to try and take him out. And that's the point. If he manages to defend against this area, I still need to do damage elsewhere. Otherwise the attack just isn't worth it. And that's the benefit of doing the infantry spam, because if he uses loads of artillery, the artillery can't easily move from this place to defend this place and back and forth again. The infantry can attack like that. Got to try and do these hit and runs, guerrilla tactics. keep on hitting hard and then hope the enemy goes down. So I ended up placing a strike command on these just for these guys to go to. But what I didn't expect was these guys to end up straying off. So I started setting up target commands in other locations as well. Particularly the airfield, because that's something that would probably annoy me in the long run if I just left that going. Did get a commando line here, but he decided to completely ignore it. I do have commandos going this way. I wanted to check this energy well as I passed. And I was going to go for this one because I might be able to get that one later on with something else. With some of these units coming in. And I have managed to destroy a lot of the structures over here. Kuruk is still building down, well, still collecting down here, which is great. He's managed to conquer this section, which is really good because it's fairly easy to defend this area. He's got navy units to make sure I can't do too much damage there. And I have managed to take over most of this section, but he's going to be able to push me back quite easily with his navy units. And because I didn't really react to this, I just left it building. I didn't really want to control the ocean. I didn't really see a problem, but there was one. And I had to address it in the end. I got one commando coming in to take out that energy well. Sometimes one commando can be all you need at the back of the enemy's base. Doing that extra damage. Hoping that the enemy doesn't spot it. Or if they do, hoping that they can't react in time to it. Yeah, at this point I probably, because there's not many enemy units in this area, I probably should have taken this blue line off and put strike commands on these structures. Just get rid of them as fast as possible. And I might have been able to progress a bit faster. But Kuruk has a plan as well. I don't know when he does it, but he does start trying to pull back. He's got a fair amount of economy. He's growing because he hasn't got a lot of production out there right now. And from my point of view, I still have that commando on the energy well. I don't think Kuruk's noticed it. It is on fire. He's probably noticed it now. He's building loads of barracks here, you see. So he had loads of economy, so he's just going to build loads of barracks. He's pretty much going to try and play me at my own game here. He's going to go for an infantry spam defense. And my units are plowing through there. I'm keeping to the forest because then Kuruk can't see it even if I'm there. So he still doesn't really know my numbers, which is great because there's a lot of stealth in this area. But yeah, he's managed to claim this area. And I didn't like that when I spotted it because I didn't want him to claim it. So I had to take him out of it. But I was expecting it. I knew that it'd be there somewhere. When I got to this point, I thought that it was like easy. Because I thought that he hasn't even tried yet. There you go, I got my units lined up once again. I probably should delete that and just set flag commands up because I don't see much else. And that one commander was able to take out that energy well. I tried to send a different commando this way, 2 of them, but they got stopped by this group that was defending it. But I didn't mind too much. I have another force that can take on that defensive group there. And I still have commandos coming in. I probably should have used these commandos coming in to try and scout the enemy right now. But I kind of just left them, I think. Yeah, so we got a lot of production here. And when we get to a certain point, I think I end up stopping the production of these barracks at some point because they do take up a lot of economy in the long run. And when you have so many and you've done the job you needed them for, you kind of need to stop their production just to try and move on to something else. So I've spotted this. I just set a strike command to it so these units primarily target it. We have the engagement down here. He does kill off pretty much most of the units. The first engagement goes in favor of me, because I was just lucky enough to have sent enough units that way. But I also split off my forces over here into 2 sections. And when I realised that he's got a lot of navy units around, I can't remember when I spotted it, I start going into submarines. I just wanted mass submarines. I realised he's coming close, and I was like, oh no, he's going to spot him. So I can't remember how I dealt with that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he spots them. I got these units here now, so they can now go back up that way, and I don't think I do that quick enough. Over here, though, my infantry swarm is doing all right. And now I don't care what I see. I'm literally just putting these flag commands up and taking as much territory as I can. If I had realized that Kuruk had built all of these barracks, though, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have continued as if his whole base covered the area. But he was very determined to try and defend this location. And I've got so many units against him right now. And he was relying too much on units that require energy. And that's another benefit to the infantry spam. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, eventually you do. I can see I'm using energy right now because I've got some submarines out on the field. And they are trying to stop these cruisers and missile ships. There's 2 of each against 4 submarines. I'm kind of out of position. He's grouped together. But as he's destroying mine, my structures are still up and running, producing 4 more. And I think he can spot all that, to be honest. I want to have a quick look over there. Oh no, he can't. He doesn't have enough units here to actually spot the submarine pens. So he might not have even noticed that there was anything there. And he manages to destroy 3 of them, and he can't see the 4th sub anymore, so... was quite lucky, really. Over here, though, my swarms are trying to go straight through the enemy. I decided to carry on with the flag commands because I just got a bit lazy at this point, but I think the blue line command movements would have probably been better even in this situation. Even for him to try and go around me. You can see my units are literally swarming around him. They're creating that curve without me even having to try. But that is increasing my firing arc against the enemy. And because I'm using infantry instead of artillery, they are able to just keep walking and push through. I probably should have put these into blue lines to get there quicker. And then I'd have had more units swarming around the enemy and be able to outnumber them. But I think my logic was at the time, if I just hold them back for a bit, I can then use these units to come down straight through the north. And I think that's what I was planning to do there. I am trying to remember this battle from quite a while ago now. So he has spotted the submarine again with these 3 units, and he is firing on it. But I have 4 more, and I was waiting for the next lot to be produced to send them in, if I could. So I am just going to have to wait and see with that. I do have this line still going down this way, which is a bit bad, because I always forget about those, and I always mention it when people forget it. My units are getting closer. I've changed these from flag commands to arrow commands, so they're not capturing the territory anymore. And that is allowing them to push further forward at all times. I still reckon I should have went with the blue commands. But I do have these guys coming in through the top, so I don't mind too much. And I am pretty much outpacing my enemy here. And that's all the infantry spam is about. Making sure you've got the economy to sustain more barracks than your enemy's production. And just keep trying to find a way in. At this point, I am about to take out production on 2 places, which is going to increase my ability to take them out. The faster they go down, the faster they'll go down again. So I got this one about to go down next. This one here is under attack, and I've just got so many units here on the front line here, he just can't push it back enough. As that's happening, we do have my submarines reaching the 8 that I wanted. They're going in for that. Which means I can now start taking over this territory here. I don't think Kuruk noticed what I did there. He's just left them as he's being attacked up here. It's quite hard to deal with 2 things happening at different sides of the map. And he's defending really well. I mean, it took me a very long time to take him out from this area. And he does have an energy well that he now doesn't need, which is great. I suppose he does need it. He does still have a navy force. But he is about to lose it, and that is got to be quite annoying because he does need his navy force. I don't think he's got any energy elsewhere. There's got to be one in the water somewhere. But right now, I think it's pretty much just this here that he's got to worry about. And he's just trying to send them out towards this way. He has lost most of his production there. And this is what I was on about here, where the navy was becoming a problem. There's this thin choke point here where his navy can pretty much artillery all of my units going across there. So that was the problem I had to face with there, and I am switching into air units at this point. So he's in my infantry units. I've managed to succeed at taking him out in these locations. If he tries to attack me, it's most likely going to be with artillery. So I switch into air at this point. Just haven't built them yet. So I'm still trying to take him out anyway, so I got more than enough time to do as I wish. And his last structure, his most important thing here is an energy well, but he does have a second one up, so he did get that running in time. That must be in the water somewhere. I don't think he's got anything else left on this side of the field, so this territory is now mine. Switch it all into flag commands and take it back. So now I'm searching the water with my submarines, trying to make sure he's got no energy wells. I would like to know where that energy well is, because I can't remember. Over here? Near? Ah, it's there. That is in a very dangerous zone, but he doesn't have a choice. And to be fair, he lost it. I must have had 2 over there then. That I just didn't spot in time. I'm not sure where that last one was, but he did have 30 there. Unless I was looking at my view, and I had 60. I probably got confused. I'm sorry. But he does have 30 now, and that is an extremely risky zone. Because the air units I'm switching into are strikers. And they are well within range of this energy well that I can already see. So yeah, let's have a look at the economy at this point. We're at 30 minutes of the game. I probably should have done that earlier, but I haven't shut up yet. So there we go. We got 1,400 from me. And Kuruk is on 900. Doing really well for himself. He's trying to switch up. He's going to go in all in barracks over here and send them in the other way. And I don't know if I actually do turn these barracks off in the end, because I've still got a lot of units being built, and I pretty much control the map over here now, which is when I would have done it. So all of my units are just swarming over here, and I do need to set up my lines a bit better. Come on, be faster. Nope. So my submarines are on the rise. They're trying to capture some territory, which is costing me a lot of energy that I need to start working on. I've got some energy being produced there. I know with my airfields I'm going to need even more so. And Kuruk is pretty much on a warpath right now. I have stopped and I built up some units here. When I saw those Navy units trying to attack me at this choke point, I tried to build up units in the southie areas so that when he came through here, I could potentially ambush him a little bit. But I didn't realise he can see me when you stand on the coast, because it's technically not forest there. So that's something I'll have to remember, because, I mean, these are far enough away to keep the stealth in, I suppose. Or at least they were, not now, because they're being revealed up here. But I've also changed these barracks to be producing this way. I probably should have done the same here, but I wanted to build them up over here somewhere so I can actually have some transports later, I think. Trying to remember. And if not, then I've screwed these lines up, but they do look pretty messy anyway. I think I was just trying to get units all into one place. I've got commandos here. I think I was planning to do transport drops at something. Or at some point. Not exactly sure, but over here he's brought his Navy units back in. Got a barracks right on the front line, which you never really want. But I think he was confident that he could take over this area with the artillery support here and from the sea. And having the front line there, he probably thought he could do that. From his perspective, he doesn't see a lot of units there, so he might have worked for that amount of units. He also does have a lot of production filling up these back lines here. So he actually might be able to push through there quite nicely. And if you can see this, he's also got transport boats about to take these guys over. He just doesn't have the transport boat available to him yet. I'm not sure exactly where that's gone. I think I took it out. I think my submarines managed to get it. I'll bring some subs here. I saw that he had units here, so I'm assuming that he had the ability to come around there. I think I probably spotted it when I was taking the territories here, so I just kept a group over on this side. Over here, it looks like he's running low on units, but from my perspective, but from his perspective, he's got a lot of reinforcements coming in there. But he can't see much else right now. So from my perspective, I'm pretty much just building strikers right now. And have I changed up what I'm doing over here? I have tried to bring my units back, capturing territories along the way. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave any units behind. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. Most of the fight will be down here now. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to stop the attack, so I tried to thin my line a little bit. And try and just get my units to go in a bit slower, which I probably should have put them on a single file line to stop the artillery, but then the infantry are taking them out pretty quick as well, so. And there's my defense against transports. Don't think he has any transports right now, because I think I might have took it out. Doesn't look like he does. He's only got these units over here. And it surprises me he has this up and running still. I should have taken that out ages ago. I've got strikers. I think part of me didn't want to reveal that I had strikers. But I also didn't want to lose my sub-pens, and he can see them with this amount of infantry here. I have set a strike command on it, but then I took it off for some reason. Oh yeah, my submarines are what's going for that. Didn't want to reveal the strikers because I had something to deal with them that he already knew about, so. I'm bringing them in, would be able to take these guys out. So I have 2 airfields of strikers. I'm building one here. This is going to be for the commandos. And I have turned off the commandos production up here, which I probably shouldn't have done. I should have kept commandos going. I should have turned these guys off so I could build up some more stuff. Or at least half of them. But I think when I saw this army, I probably wanted to keep them on just in case. But he's going to lose his energy well right now, and I was going to send in the strikers. I decided not to, I think. Yeah, they're going to return home. The energy well's gone down, so now Kuruk has no energy. Once again, he cannot really keep putting it there. So he's going to have to rely on no energy. But my reinforcements get killed by these Navy units. So his units are getting a bit more free range to get in there. At least until my submarines get there. I could have put this on haste mode, because I've got more than enough energy, and I could have got them in faster and saved some units. There we go. So I see this choke point here, and I'm bringing my strikers in to just attack straight on top of it. If I can reduce their numbers going through, then my reinforcements can do even more damage, especially after my submarines come in and take out these units. And from his perspective, he does switch into SAM units, if I remember. Got a structure there to do it, but he hasn't got much production of it. So these strikers are going to get some free damage in here. Maybe should have used helicopters, because I can just build up their numbers really well. He is also in the negatives right now. So he's got 700 per minute, but he is struggling to keep up with the production that he has. His Navy units can't move. They have absolutely no energy. Yeah, when the strikers didn't do as much damage as I was hoping for, I decided to change up what I was going to do there. I don't know if I changed it now or later. But yeah, so now I have the ocean control with just submarines. And my strikers are on the return. I've got just one there now, which I don't ever like doing. And I lost one of my sub-pens there. I probably should have just destroyed them all. As far as I was aware, I controlled the ocean, and they're in a bad position right now. But then the longer they're there, the more submarines I have for later. So I don't mind too much. And yeah, I've got a Navy yard there. Just potentially take over this, I think. Can't really remember what I got it for. Especially placing it there. That's quite a risky place to have it. My submarines are on the move again. I don't know where they're going. They are moving down here into this choke point area. My infantry units are not strong enough to get engaged against his, but I have just streamed them in because they are quite a thick group of units. But I do have my airfield up here with commandos, which I was waiting for this transport to be ready so I can start taking over the little island here. And potentially get in the back of his base over here. And I built 2 more airfields there, so I've got more strikers coming in. And I probably switched it by now. Yeah. So there you go. I've changed my strikers to attack the structures over here. I've still put it on a circle command just in case there's SAM units. But I wanted to take out the eco and the production. And pretty much just control this end and then move across and have my commandos drop in here. Just in case I can't take out this frontline army. I probably should have built a nuke. It's usually my way to go when I'm in this situation, a big army coming in. But I can't remember if I did. There you go, my strikers are doing a lot of damage here. The structures being much bigger targets, they don't repair easy, so, you know, the strikers are going to do a lot of damage there and take out what I want. And then when they do, I'll just move it up a bit further this way. So, yeah, they're taking out 2 of the production structures already. The eco structure's heavily damaged. Will I take it out yet? I don't know. Can't remember. I don't think they will because they're not firing another missile. But I do have some more coming in now. And that one's straying off quite a bit to take on the barracks there. Save your ammo for the town over here. And I noticed that his units were curving around mine, which I certainly did not like. So I knew I had to fill in this gap here a bit. So spreading the units out just a bit more to try and make sure I curved around him instead proved to be a bit of a challenge at first. So I tried to pull him back to build up my numbers. Until then, I still haven't taken out that town. But I do have a lot of strikers coming in. I also have a few commandos here that are ready to go and I've forgotten about them. There we go. I'm just trying to build a frontline force that is equal to his front line. So basically spread out about the same. Even if he's got more units, at that point I'm still fighting 1-to-1 rather than 2-on-1. But spreading them out still ended up creating a gap here, which was a bit of a problem, but it was alright. He is doing very well at trying to defend there, or attack there, push through. He has sorted out most of his eco, but I think I'm helping him with that, take out some of his production. And I did take out some of his eco, which is obviously not helpful, but still. There we go, another barracks goes down, and I need to move my strikers command a bit further this way. Have I moved those commandos? Yes, 3 planes are on their way. Where they go? On this island here. So I've got 3 transport jets going there. I probably should have went straight to him first and sent some afterwards to those islands. With this being the front face of the force, my army that was all the way over the other side has finally joined. I'm not relying on production now. So this is increased by production, but also my army that took out his original base. So it should give me a bit more of an upper hand here. Another thing I could have done was make this command go around here and then have another command separate through this way. And that way they'd separate around this area rather than right on the front line. And the fact that he's got artillery and I've got SAM as my backing unit, it's not great in this situation for me. His artillery are definitely going to be more advantageous in this situation. So I knew that I had to do something about that. But he doesn't have anti-air and I'm building up loads, so I'm not too worried about that. And I'm taking out his production, so eventually his forces are just going to get weaker and weaker on this front line. The more my strikers do the damage, as long as I can just hold him back, eventually I should win. From his perspective, he doesn't have too much going on there, and he is losing his barracks pretty fast. And he doesn't have many units expanding. He does, but I think he's curving around this way, and if he come in over here quicker, he might have took out my navy yard, which is producing some cruisers to defend with. Over here on the battlefield, though, he is building some barracks over here, which isn't a bad idea right now, which I know I've said otherwise, but it's because my strikers are attacking over here. I probably have built them down here, so I can bring them up around there. And as I said, curving the line around this way and then having units here. I've actually done that as well. Yeah, he's lost a lot of production now. And we're coming up towards, I guess, the end of the match. He's got to break through me before I can break through him. And I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I do, I told you at the beginning of this video, but still. There you go, I am building the nuke silos. Even when I'm watching these games, I think as I do when I play. I don't end up playing as well as I should. And actually, that wasn't me, that was him doing that curve, so he's thinking as well as I should play. So he's made this curved line around there when I said it was me a second ago. I forgot I was looking through his eyes. I've kept mine the same way, I've just left them be. I'm trying to control my strikers more than anything else, and I'm just trying to monitor that battle to make sure it doesn't end up losing out too much. My submarines are spreading out. They were here, I spread them out like this and across to make sure I can see this island, because I'm worried about what's being built there. You can see there was nothing here, my commanders have taken that out quite nicely. I think I'll build an airstrip over there. And send the transport jets over there in the end anyway, so I can get to that main island. Over here I am running, oh no, I was about to say I'm running a low on strikers, but I'm actually increased massively on strikers. And I think that was pretty much all of his production over there. Yeah, my strikers finally finished him off pretty quick after they built up in numbers, and he now only has 4 production structures and 1 still being built. But yet my units are still flowing in about the same level, and eventually I am going to push through despite being at the disadvantage of unit composition. I should have easily have changed to artillery from these SAM units, but I was really worried that I was going to end up fighting a lot of air units, but I should keep them back. I am sending them in, and I'm losing a lot of SAM units for no reason. If I just kept like 1, 2, 3, 4 circles of SAM units and then stopped their production, that should have been perfectly fine. My strikers can no longer reach their production, so they just literally put a circle plan there and trying to hit that one last barracks. Probably should do with building some airfields, and if I could, with the range of this being there, it's probably going to have to build them here, and then I could just range him in that way. So yeah, this ends up being the frontline battle, and pretty much his last stand there. Over on the other side of the map, I still kept some units there in case he tried to come in through the back end, and I'd at least see it. So all I needed to do was just see it. And my commanders have taken over this island. There's the airstrip for my transports. And after that, I can start taking over this island here and taking his last production. I'm not too worried now that I took out most of his production on that strip over there, because now I know that these forces here will eventually get through. I definitely should have changed these SAM units into artillery, or at least a mix. Half and half or something. Shouldn't have just relied on my infantry here to take over the front lines. Look at all these SAM units. That is a big mistake on my part. If I had switched to artillery, I probably could have taken out this front section a lot faster without even worrying about my strikers over here as much. But Kuruk is a guy that just does not give in. He's trying to defend every opportunity that he can. He can see a way out of this, and he's trying his best to make sure he can. I'm pretty sure my strikers could not reach this zone over here, so I leave them there, and I'm wondering if he does manage to break through, I can still use them over here as defense, and he's going to struggle to fight against that. That was my logic there, so that's why I probably didn't care as much down here that I should have. From his perspective, has he built anything over here? My cruisers are on the move with my submarines. Try and take out any units over here while I still could, because I knew there were groups there from last time my submarines went past. So I was trying to avoid anything else that I can do, and my cruisers built up in numbers, so I just sent them over to see what they could attack, and see if they got attacked as well. And my nuke comes in. I didn't even remember that at all. He's got some anti-air as well. And the nuke drops down there. And my SAMs, by building SAMs here, he's actually weakened his approach there, but I could have built airfields, like I said about earlier, airstrips, and sent them in over there. So he was trying to defend against that. But at the same time, this is probably the bigger threat right now. So it'd definitely be still needing artilleries, and I was just out of range. So unfortunately, Kuruk just couldn't finish me off when I tried to play properly. So he said that I wouldn't show the videos where I lost. Now I've shown them. You can see that I was just testing out SAM units. And now that we played properly, I won. So I'm not just going to show you the videos where I win. I'll happily show you when I lose. In fact, I think I've probably shown more videos where I lose, but I can't remember, to be honest. So thank you guys for watching. There's 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to click on one of them. And feel free to join Discord and subscribe, like the video, you know, all the call to actions. Thank you for watching. I'll see you around. And Kuruk, feel free to comment on this video. Thanks for watching.